This is Jeremy Hutzel, President and CEO of Seven Springs Wealth Group. I'm joined by our Chief Investment Officer, Andy Michael. And Andy and I have been having meetings with clients over the last few weeks, and certainly a topic of conversation has been extraordinary gains in the U.S. stock market for the third year in a row, and double-digit gains in the S&P 500 3 years running now. But this year, international equities have actually, by and large, outperformed the U.S. equities, despite that strong performance in the U.S. And the biggest winner of all has been precious metals and silver near all-time highs, but also, of course, gold, a topic that we hear a lot about. Andy, share your insight as to what's driving these returns.
Yeah, each one of those have their own unique set of return drivers, but I think the one underlying theme to all of those is what has been called recently the debasement trade. Simply put, that more and more dollars are being created as fiscal deficits continue to run year in and year out. And so owning some type of asset priced in dollars, whether it's a US stock, an international stock that's also priced in an international currency, or owning a hard precious metal such as gold or silver, all of those are participating in that debasement trade theme that we were just talking about.
Well, I think what a lot of people then ask when they hear about that is, should I be concerned about the long-term health of the dollar? What's really going on here?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think about it in two ways. One, yes, you should own assets that are priced in dollars rather than just holding dollars alone. We're seeing that with inflation. We're seeing that with, again, more and more dollars being created to support all of the deficit spending that's occurring. And so owning hard limited assets priced in dollars, we find to be very, very important. However, for being outright concerned, I like to look to the bond market. And in reality, we're actually seeing not only short term interest rates come down, we're starting to see long term interest rates come down. And so, if there was a real concern in the markets of a runaway inflation or dollars spiraling out of control, you would see the 10-year yield and the 30-year yield moving significantly higher. This year, Jeremy, we've seen the exact opposite. Those long end yields are coming down.
It's interesting. What I hear you saying is really this debasement is a story of diversification in owning these different asset classes. And maybe that's what's going on as investors around the world diversify their dollar holdings better. Of course, we've read about over the last few years some of the geopolitical concerns from some, I won't say adversaries, but foreign entities that are not necessarily on the friendliest terms of the United States, wanting to intentionally purchase gold or other assets that would diversify their dollar holdings. And then other investors, like you're talking about, are looking at the fiscal health of the U.S. and wanting to diversify. Is it really that simple? This is a tale of diversification, and it's not something that we don't need to be concerned. There's a crisis in the pending implosion of the dollar and some of these headlines that I sometimes see on the internet.
Yes, typically those that are calling for the implosion of the dollar, in our opinion, have something they're trying to sell you as a result of telling you that there is an implosion of the dollar.
Imagine that.
Imagine that. However, going back to exactly what you said, we fully do believe in diversification. You want to own assets that are priced in dollars, not just own dollars alone. And a part of that can be both equities or even hard assets such as gold. We typically skew towards productive assets that create cash flows, grow those cash flows into the future. We find those to be the greatest long-term inflation fighters, if you will. But nonetheless, having that diversification we find to be really, really important, and it's shown to be very, very fruitful in years like this.
Well, I think that's great advice, Andy. I think all of us can recognize the wisdom and cash flow is king. And certainly when you talk about productive assets as a business owner, that's a sentiment that I certainly resonate with. And I'm sure a lot of the investors at home do as well. So thank you for these insights today. I think it's very helpful for folks who want to find out more or follow up on one of these topics that we've delved into today. Please feel free to reach out. You can find us at sevenspringswealth.com.